So, my wife Debbie and I successfully have transferred the end-of-the-line Santa display from another part of our Heritage Center to this space here. And you know, I was able to use most of the elements I used in the other display, which is always nice, although sometimes I enjoy incorporating new things too. But because this is a tall case, we were able to place the letter that my parents sent out to all their customers in 2005 that announced that their business was coming to a close. And I have to say, that letter was a very dramatic event for this business, for the community, and for our country at large, because after it went out, things were just not the same during the period of time my parents were closing their business. I'm going to place this particular piece right here below the display when we place the glass on it. And I would like to read just a portion of this to you. It's important information, and I think that this particular plaque says it best. The 1980s and most of the 1990s were a prosperous time for the Simpich Character Doll enterprise. In 1986, a building next door was purchased, and the business expanded again to meet the overwhelming demand for the dolls. A separate building for the casting department was purchased in 1991. However, towards the turn of the century, a dramatic change in the collectible market became noticeable. The cost of producing handmade items, particularly labor, skyrocketed, and many American businesses chose to have their art and collectible items produced overseas to defray costs. To this day, new labels reading "Handmade in America" are continuing to diminish. To protect the efforts of over 50 years of Simpich dolls, each made in Colorado Springs, Bob and Jan decided in 2005 to close their business. It was an agonizing decision, for they knew it would affect in a dramatic way their loyal employees, customers, and the community at large. The day after their decision was announced, 300 people were lined up outside the shop to hopefully purchase dolls. In February 2007, production ceased and the shop was closed. Now, I have to say I was in on the meeting. Actually, it was just my mother, my dad, and myself. The meeting that it was decided that the doll shop would close. We were out to lunch together, and my parents were agonizing over a number of things that were going on with the business, mostly just maintaining the labor and the materials, as it says here. And I remember as we were leaving the restaurant, the wind was blowing so hard we almost blew over, and I was thinking the winds of change are truly blowing. And sure enough, after that point, things were not the same. And during that period of time from 2005 to 2007, early 2007, it was just a very dramatic place down here with all the changes. And during that time, it's announced in the letter that we're now displaying, my parents decided to do a final edition Santa, the final doll that they would produce. And it was decided to do the end-of-the-line Santa. And my dad did the head and sculpted that, and he sculpted the little caboose that he's holding. There's tools in his pockets. He sculpted shoes for him, a dog. They worked out a special costume, an apron, a very special piece, and very, very limited because it only was produced for 1 year. So anyone who has an end-of-the-line Santa has a truly rare collectible. And so he is showcased here in this display. And I wanted to just conclude here with reading just the last little part on this plaque. As with all artistic expression, the energy, the talent, and the purpose can remain and be showcased in new ways, in homes, as heirlooms, as art treasures, and always through cherished memories. And as with the end-of-the-line Santa, Bob and Jan's last doll, there is still reason to smile and still a twinkle in the eye, for the invitation is still before us. The story is always just beginning.